Hi guys, my name's Shane Cuthbert. I'd really love to welcome you back again for watching yet another one of my videos. So thank you very much. Looking very forward to sharing with you some more tips, some more tricks, and some more insight that's going to help you change your life. Most people go throughout their life without even trying to change at all, not even once. They would rather ignore their problems, forget about them, or sweep them under the rug. So it's a really courageous thing for you to be here watching these videos and really actively participating in trying to change your life. I think the trap that most people fall into when they're trying to change is that they spend all this time and effort trying to change a particular situation. So, it might be getting a job or getting healthy. And they try to change their environment. They're trying to change other people around them in their life. They say things like, oh, if this person didn't do that thing, my life would be fine. If my partner did this, life would be great. If I got that promotion at work, everything would be perfect. But the truth is, it's not only making these changes in your environment that's going to help change your life. You need to change yourself. Okay, it's your ways of thinking and the ways of doing things. Unfortunately, we are limited in what we can and can't do in regards to changing our environment. Now, you might be able to get rid of, a toxic partner, or some friends that don't really support you. You may be able to do that. But as far as actually changing other people, you can't do that. Change is up to them. Changing your work position, you could go get another job. That's something that you can change. But you can't change the way a boss treats you or colleagues treat you. That's out of your control. So one thing that people do, and the mistake that they make, is trying to control the environment when that's something that's completely out of our hands. So I'm going to ask you to stop trying to control your environment and focus on changing yourself. Because when you focus on changing yourself, that's when you get those real changes that you have come here seeking. Now, as I said before in the first video, our current problems are there in this space. They are there because of our current thinking. Okay? Our current problems are there because of our current thinking. And in order to change our current problems, we need to create a new way of thinking. Now, let's think back again to the first video. When you had that problem that you used to have, that now you've overcome it, right? So if you think back to that problem, isn't it true that at some point along the way, you had to change your way of thinking in order to move from the problem to the solution space? You can actually change your thinking, and the best way of doing that is through the power of communication. Now, I don't mean communicating with me through a video screen. I mean communicating with yourself. Moving forward, I want you to understand that I'm just the navigator. So I'm trying to direct you where to go. I'm trying to teach you things to look out for, things to be aware of. You need to understand that going around the roundabout, like we did in the last video, you are the driver. You are the driver of your own mind. I can't control your own mind. I can't hypnotize you. I can't make you do anything that you don't want to do. All I am doing is navigating you in a positive direction. I can offer you new ideas. I can give you some instructions. I can give you directions, new thoughts, new ways of thinking. But that's all I can do. The rest is up to you. Just so you know, we are always communicating with ourselves all the time. We just don't know it. We might not be aware of it. In the last video, I talked a lot about how when we looked at cavemen and our instincts and how our unconscious mind is driving us. Now, the unconscious mind might not be something that until now you have been familiar with, but our unconscious mind it's ourselves, it's our own mind, but it's the thoughts in the back of our head. You know, you might have heard someone say something like, oh, look, I've got something, you know, stuck in the back of my head, you know, an idea, a thought or something, or someone's asked a question and they said, oh, the answer's right there in the back of my mind. That's true because we're referring to our unconscious mind. Our unconscious mind is always there. What we want to do throughout this series is create a better relationship with our unconscious mind, and we want to create a better relationship with our conscious mind and our unconscious minds. Now, if we're already communicating with ourselves all the time anyway, then it's not going to hurt for us to learn how to better communicate with ourselves so that we can again get out of the problem space and into the solution space. Here's something else that's going to become apparent to you as we move further and further towards this series. You're going to start to realize with 100% certainty why I made such a fuss about us congratulating ourselves. It's going to start to become obvious to you why I made such a big deal about that. Now, I'm going to ask you not to wait until you have found that certainty to take the leap of faith and move forward with the rest of the videos and go from your problem space into your solution space. I want you to congratulate yourself now, because this is how we learn a very important process called self-trust. Because self-trust is the absolute key to unlocking your unconscious mind, okay? It's the absolute ingredient that we need when we're developing our self-communication. It's going to help us become less resistant to change, and it's also going to help us become more receptive to change. Now, here's another little self-trust exercise that I'd like you to try out. When you complete this whole video series, you're going to want to ask yourself, what do you do next? Okay, so the first step is to make contact, and the second step is to follow up that contact by actually doing something that's going to help you along the way with your process of changing. What I want you to know is that there's no rush. You don't have to do that straight away, and it's perfectly okay to think about it for a while. Just as it was okay for you to take the time to find me, to find some help out there, and the time it took you to watch these videos, it's also okay to just absorb and digest everything that we've learnt here. What I'm giving you is the seeds, essentially. Throughout this video, I'm giving you a lot of seeds, and we're planting them and we're watering them along the way. We're not going to have a tree tomorrow. It's going to take time. Maybe even watch the program a couple of times, just to let it really sink in. Because as you're watching it, what you're actually doing is it's going straight into your unconscious mind. Okay, it's going straight into your unconscious mind. So your unconscious mind's going to start unlocking. Okay, it's going to start unlocking. It's going to start opening up, and you're going to be able to start forming that relationship with yourself. The reason why I want you to appreciate that it's okay to take your time with watching the videos or thinking about things is because when you sit down with a therapist, or you communicate with me, or you continue in one of the other programs, you're going to learn that things don't fall into place straight away. Okay, things don't necessarily click straight away. Not every suggestion that I make or a therapist makes, or your friends and family are going to make you go, oh, okay, that's amazing. Yep, you've changed my life. That's not reality, and that's not how it works. So I want you to really take the time to let this sink in. I would love for you to watch every single one of my videos, and partake in each lesson and walk away feeling like, wow, I've accomplished something. That has changed my life. Something that I said changed your life straight away. But the truth is, it doesn't work that way. I wish it could be that way. The point where you are right now is somewhere that I've been before. You know, I've been in a position where I had to ask for help, or I was looking for help. I didn't know where to look. And when I did find someone, sometimes they weren't the right fit. I've seen a lot of counsellors, a lot of coaches. I've tried to get help throughout my life in a lot of different moments in time and places. And, you know, when you sit down with something, it really is daunting. I mean, I remember it feeling so overwhelming. It's scary, like it's terrifying. It's terrifying to admit that you have a problem and that you need help. It's terrifying having to trust somebody with that, with sharing those things and asking them for help. You know, sharing our secrets and things from our childhood and our past, talking about our traumas. It's very emotional. And it's important then that you do have trust moving forward with that person. I've been lucky enough to get help from some really great people that have, you know, helped me out along the way and brought me to the point where I am now. And now I'm in a space where I can help others. You know, that's crazy. That's amazing. You may end up in that space also if that's the direction you wish to go. But it really is important just for me to share with you that personally, I've been in the same place where you are now, and I've felt the same things, and it's real, and it's okay to feel that way. People have shared some really amazing ideas with me through therapy and counselling and other sort of things throughout my life, and it's only later on where I've actually taken that lesson on board and really learnt it. You know, it was there in the back of my mind throughout the whole process, but I remember at the time when someone told me that particular thing, I thought, okay, that's awesome, but I didn't really think, you know, I didn't apply it, or I didn't think it was perhaps worth even thinking about at the time. I didn't think that those thoughts were something that I should really take on board, those suggestions. But then, you know, I find myself, you know, a year or two later, and I think, oh wow, that thing that person said, it's really clicked now. It's always been there. I've always remembered it. It's always been in the back of my unconscious mind. But sometimes it takes a little bit of time for things to start clicking. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time for things to fall into place. If we were to go back in time again to visit our younger self, although those sort of things that we said to our younger self, or those things we tried to explain and the things we tried to convince our younger self of didn't work out, it would be important to realise that the best thing, the absolute best thing that we could have done at that time is to have just planted seeds in our younger mind. The real important message that I'd like you to take away from this video is to not put pressure on yourself, okay? Don't put pressure on yourself when you're trying to make a change, because pressure breaks self-trust. Now, I've seen it a million times. Pressure is the absolute worst thing you can do when you're trying to build a relationship with yourself, a positive relationship with yourself, when you're trying to change. You know, because the worst thing that people do is they wait until they have this outcome and this result, they've solved their problem, and they can, you know, before they can really congratulate themselves and look back and acknowledge all of the hard work and the process that went into it. Sometimes people don't even acknowledge that. How many times have you know, achieved something and you've had a big party to celebrate, you know, you got your degree, or you got your job, or, you know, whatever it was, and it's like you just instantly forgot that was a process. Like, you spent 4 years at university, or you went to school, or, you know, you applied for 100 jobs. It's like you just forget about it. You just forget about it. And You don't want to forget about it. We want to be rewarded and recognized for all the things that we did leading up to that step. It's very important. When people do wait to congratulate themselves, they're robbing themselves of the opportunity to go back and congratulate themselves for every single step along that way. I tell you what, it's a perfect recipe for. It's a perfect recipe for what I call on and off again change. It's when someone commits to change, they start studying, or they start applying for jobs, or they start dating a few other people, whatever it is, trying different diets, but they don't fully commit. They never get to the end. They never finish their degree. They never, find themselves in a positive relationship. They don't get healthy. They try all of these things, but they never go anywhere. And I'll tell you why. They don't go anywhere, okay, because they're not congratulating themselves along the way. They get halfway through and they go, this is taking too long. They get halfway through and they say, oh my God, this is too hard. Okay? They're not congratulating themselves along the way. They're robbing themselves of that opportunity, and that's why it feels so hard. That's why they can't finish. They can't get to the finish line. It's too far away. But when you start congratulating yourself, every 100 meters, throughout the race, throughout the process, that sort of encouragement keeps you going. It motivates you and it inspires you to finish the race, to finish the degree, to get the new relationship, to get the job, to overcome your addictions. Motivation and inspiration comes from rewarding and congratulating yourself along the way. So the term yo-yo basically means on again, off again, okay? Falling, off the wagon, then getting back on the wagon when things are good. Then things get hard, you're off the wagon again. So pressure creates a yo-yo style of on again, off again, traps when you're trying to change. So again, I'd like you to take that moment to congratulate yourself for being here and for following the steps it's taking you to get here, and for the steps that you've already climbed in the last 2 videos. However which way you do that for yourself, I want you to do that right now. Congratulate yourself for all of the steps it took for you to get to this point. Even if congratulating yourself feels uncomfortable now and it feels unfamiliar, that's okay. Once we keep doing it and we practice that, we practice congratulating ourselves, we practice the process of congratulating ourselves and rewarding ourselves and recognizing our efforts, it will allow us to become familiar with that process of congratulating ourselves. And remember, no matter where you are in your process of change, no matter what step you are on right now, you definitely deserve your own approval. Well done. You're on the right track. I'll see you in the next video. Our current problems exist within our current thinking. So to change ourselves, we have to change our thinking. Whether we realize it or not, we're always communicating with ourselves. So the best way to change our thinking is to learn how to communicate with ourselves in a way that will take the pressure off and instead build self-trust. To reduce the pressure we put on ourselves, it's important to take that time to learn patience and realize that the best change happens when seeds of thought grow slowly over a period of time. In the following lessons, I will show you exactly how your unconscious mind works and how we can use that awareness to look at ourselves in a way that will help us solve our problems and change the patterns we have been stuck in.